Hey guys, coming up on the show today, we are going into the kitchen virtually.
Ooh, best way.
This is Double Tap, where blind people talk tech. Here's Stephen Scott and Shaun Preece.
Yeah, and to be honest, I think that's because, Shaun Preece, virtually that is, that we're going into the kitchen, because our guests today might not want us anywhere near their kitchen.
How dare you, sir? And in fact, the whole purpose of today's episode is to show that we can do it. Possibly, maybe.
Yeah.
I've got to say, cooking scares me, Stephen Scott. My name is Shaun Preece, and I'm scared of cooking.
Well done. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you. I mean,
good.
there's sharp things, there's naked flames and pans and bubbling, boiling things. Yeah, I usually want nothing to do with it.
Yeah. Is that the excuse you use in your house?
Yes.
Okay. I will say, though, a smartphone is one. I remember, when I first showed my mother the iPhone, the first thing she said to me was, yeah, that's all great and wonderful, but can it cook your dinner? Well, yes, actually it can. Yeah, it can. And it has fed me and my family for a very long time. But you're right. Actually, getting into cooking sounds like a great thing, but it is nerve-wracking, especially when you've got no vision, you're losing your sight, all of that. And, for a lot of people, they've come to adjust. And certainly that's the case for our guests today. Now, back in June, we got the chance to meet Debra Erickson, who's the creator and founder of The Blind Kitchen, and someone who a lot of you have been in touch with us saying, they should get Debra on the show. You always talk about how bad you are at cooking. Well, let's get Debra on. So that's exactly what we're doing here today. We spent a wonderful hour in the company of Debra, her amazing team at The Blind Kitchen, and her good friend and ours, Chris Cooke. Perfect name as well.
Who knew?
Yeah.
It's planned.
You'd think it, well, if it's double tap, right? It's never planned.
Yeah, no, it's not planned,
but,
sorry.
What an amazing opportunity for us to really educate ourselves and educate each other on basically the ways to cook safely, and also to find out some great products that Debra has available from her own website, theblindkitchen.com. So without further ado, let us enter The Blind Kitchen.
Stephen and Shaun, thank you so much for having us on the show. We really appreciate it. And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Debra Erickson, and I'm the executive chef and founder of The Blind Kitchen. And I have a sous chef with me today, and so I'm going to let Chris introduce herself.
Hi there, I'm Chris Cooke, and I'm so excited to be on the show and to join Debra in this adventure today.
And it is going to be an adventure. And just a little further description of Chris, she was actually the woman that taught me how to read Braille when I was a student at the Oregon Commission for the Blind. So we've known each other for quite some time. Okay. So Chris is going to help me do a lot of the prep, and we're going to talk through, for people that can't see, to know that what we are exactly doing. And what we're doing today is we are cooking for Stephen and Shaun and blind-friendly English breakfast. And when I was researching this, I went through and found the things that there's a lot of different ways to do an English breakfast. But the things that they all seem to have in common was they included sausage, they included bacon, they included beans, baked beans and tomato sauce, and they also included mushrooms, tomatoes, and a fried egg. In fact, they call it a fry-up. So this isn't going to lengthen your life for sure, but you won't be hungry again until dinner when we're done. So we're going to go ahead and get this started. I have in front of me a work tray with different tools that I use for cooking, and I've got an assortment of ingredients as well. The stove is to my right, and it has 3 pans on it, because traditionally in an English breakfast, it's all fried up in one pan. But when you're cooking with vision loss, that can get very confusing and messy. And so I am not confused or messy. And so I'm going to be cooking it in different pans to keep everything in order. And then the oven is on very low heat. So as I cook them to keep them warm, the other things warm, it's going to go into a very low oven. It's only 150 degrees Fahrenheit. So that is, so it's not cooking anything. It's just keeping it warm. You could probably still touch the pan when it's all over.
I have many questions, which is, first off, how do you cook? I mean, that's a serious question I often have when I ask people, who know things in the kitchen. How do you actually cook things? And you're going to teach us today.
I am going to teach you today. So cooking is just like anything. If you have the right tools, strategy, and information, you can do it safely and confidently. And cooking is very much about science. So if you know temperatures and things like that, you can control cooking times and other things. But there's a million different tips and tricks to how to do things. And as we go through today, I will be talking about the tools I'm using and why I'm using them and how they help people with vision loss to be able to cook. Do you have anything, Chris? Because you're a good cook too.
Thank you. I can't think of anything other than practicing, using those great tools, and just really knowing you can do it.
Yep. Okay, you guys ready to get started?
Let's do it.
Can't wait.
You got it. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is cook the sausage because the sausage is raw. And I want to explain to people it's a Cumberland sausage, which is what is traditionally eaten for breakfast in England. And they're a little bigger than our breakfast links here in America. The other thing is the bacon is not strips in England. It is actually a slab of bacon back. So it's not ham. It has a little bit of a fat on it, but it's more like a slab of ham than a strip of bacon. But it definitely is bacon. And I have it in a stainless steel pie plate here. And the reason I have it is, first of all, I want to be able to identify that container. It's different than any container on this table. I chose it so that I would know with just a touch what it is. And it also has high sides so that the raw meats won't actually contaminate any of the other foods here that won't be cooked further. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the stove on. Turn it down a little bit. Most food does not benefit from being cooked at very high heat. So that's a problem people have with it. So I'm going to put it on kind of a low heat because I'm not wanting to kill this sausage. It's already dead. I'm just wanting to warm it through. So I have a bottle of olive oil in front of me, and it's got a special spout on it. When I tip it upside down, even if I still hold it upside down, it'll dispense exactly a tablespoon of liquid and then stop. So there we go. We'll do that. And then I'm going to put in a couple of pats of butter because I'm American and that's what we do. We use butter. So now while this butter is melting, now you might want to know how I know if it's centered over the heat. And what I'm doing is I'm touching the upper top rim of the pan. I can touch it just for a second without getting burnt. And I want it to be equally hot on all sides. So that way I know it is actually centered. The other tool I'm going to use right now is a long wooden spoon or fork. And and the reason I use it is, number one, wood does not conduct heat. So I can leave it in the pan. So I'm less messy cook. I'm not going to be dripping things going across. So I'm going to put this in the pan. Hold on, let me come back to where I was. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to leave that wooden spoon in the pan. It's not going to get hot. It's not going to burn me. And I'm going to reach over here. And I've got that sausage here. And we're going to start getting cooking. And it smells really good. I understand nutmeg is one of the major ingredients in this. So, get that in there. We'll get that started. The bacon is already cooked. So I am not going to mess with that. Can you come back here? Okay, that's a little higher than I wanted it. Okay, so now we're gonna get started on the beans. Chris, do you mind opening that can of beans for me?
I can do that.
Thank you. Why messing with this?
You're welcome. Just a pull tab. just opening it here. And I'm going to put the lid of the can in our scraps bowl. There's a large scraps bowl to the top left of my works area here, and I'm going to put the beans at the right corner of my tray so that Debra can easily find them.
Okay, so the second thing I'm doing now here is I'm heating up the pan, and traditionally, I want you to know, Stephen, you said only Heinz beans, so we are using Heinz, and we had to get them on Amazon because our local stores don't carry them. So we're definitely going to order, and I found, this is a chef in me coming out, that when I heated up the beans, I found them to be incredibly bland. No offenses, I hope I'm not starting a war here. So I am going to put a couple of butter slices in this pan. That's a pan on the back left burner, and I've got a long wooden spoon for the same reasons. It can't drop down in the pan, and I can leave it in the pan without worrying. So I put a couple of pats of butter, and the other ingredient I'm going to add here is Worcestershire sauce. I'm going to add a teaspoon, and I have our liquid bottle dispenser, and it measures out exactly 1/4 teaspoon every time I squeeze the bulb. So I'm going to do this 4 times. Okay. So Chris, while I'm getting this going, do you want to start cutting up the mushrooms and the tomato?
Sure, I can do that. And I was just going to ask you really quick, Debra, you have a butter slicer, don't you?
I do. So all my butter is pre-cut into pre-cut sizes with we use a tool that's kind of like a hard-boiled egg slicer or a mushroom slicer where it has wires. This cuts the butter all with one push into equal-sized portions, and that makes it really handy. I don't have to get out a butter knife or, pre-measure it or pre-cut it. It's all going to be done for me.
So I have this nice Roma tomato here, and then I have this tool that I'd never encountered before called a shark, and it's not quite as scary as it sounds. But it's a little teaspoon-like device, and it has little teeth all around the edge of it, and it's for taking the core out of the tomato. So I have the tomato with the stem side up, and I have the little shark teaspoon type tool perpendicular, and so I'm going to just come down into the tomato a little bit, and then I'm going to turn the spoon upward so that I can neatly remove the core, and I will just toss it into the scraps bowl. And now I'm going to go to my sharps container here and get my knife. So Debra, how would you like me to slice the tomato? Which way does it go?
So the tomatoes, they're shaped like an oval. So after you get rid of that stem, it sounds like you did a good job on that. Cut them from North Pole to South Pole.
Okay,
That's
great.
it.
So I'm just sort of picking my fingers and measuring that I've got about halfway through here. And I'm just going to slice the tomato, and got a bit uneven here.
It'll still cook up just fine.
I think it will cook up just fine either way, but somehow I think the little guy rolled over and did not get him properly evenly cut. So now I'm going to ask about the mushroom. How do you prefer that I cut the mushroom here? This is a big 4-ounce mushroom.
It's a huge mushroom. It's supposed to be a baby bella, but it's a giant bella. You want to cut it, put the stem side up towards the ceiling, and then cut it in half through the stem and then through the mushroom cap.
Okay.
And then it'll be in halves then, and then you want to cut each of those in half again.
Okay, which I'm doing.
I want to ask about how you got confident in the kitchen, because I think a lot of us understand the desire perhaps to be a chef and to become this as a career, but I remember growing up I was encouraged or actually discouraged from being in the kitchen. So how do you gain that confidence? How did you start? How did you both start?
It is, I'm going to turn this off for a second because it's cooking a little faster than I like. So I have not always been blind. I have retinitis pigmentosa, and I lost most of my vision, the last of my vision, I should say, in my early 50s. And I loved teaching adults, and I knew I wanted to teach adults again, but I didn't know what I wanted to teach them. And so I was in the, let me turn that on too for a second. So I was in the teaching kitchen at the Oregon Commission for the Blind, and I was taking all my classes, and I was taking a meal prep class. And the woman that was teaching me, who is now my dear friend and Chris's dear friend as well, the light bulb went on in my head, and I said, oh, I could teach this. I'm enjoying this. And then I realized I don't know how to cook. I really was never a good cook. I raised two sons, and the youngest one is 6'5", so I did something right. But I mostly did cans and boxes. I could follow directions. I'm one of 12 kids, and my mom had 7 daughters. We didn't get a lot of independent stove time in front of her. So I realized then, I don't know how to cook. And then I was like doing some research on it, and it's like, where do you go to learn cooking? And it's culinary school. And so that's how I ended up going, and the commission supported it. And I was just wanting to teach adults, so I thought I'd do meal prep instruction for it. But then COVID hit, and I was sent home for a year and a half. And I needed to I took that time to organize all the information I'd learned. The culinary school is pretty brutal. And I took the time to organize the information and the problems I'd solved and the hacks. And that's how the Blind Kitchen came to be. It was never a straight line, trust me.
That's amazing. Can I ask about the little tools that you're using there for measuring the oil, for example? I've never heard of anything like that. Was that difficult to find?
Well, not if you hang out in bars. So I was a bartender in college, and if you came into my bar and you were my buddy, I would want to give you a heavy pour because I'm your friend, and that's what friends do. But they had these dispensers that dispensed exactly a certain amount of liquid, and this one happens to be a tablespoon. So I knew it existed from that experience, but I thought, I wonder if oil will go through it, and it does. It works beautifully. So if I wanted a second tablespoon of that oil, I'd have to upright the bottle and then turn it upside down again. It works with ball bearings and magnets to block to pre-measure it and then block the pouring spout when it's dispensed it. So I've got another tool in my hand right now, and it is a thermometer, and it's a talking thermometer, because I want to know, I want to check and see if this meat is at the correct temperature. So I'm going to come over to the pan. Let me make sure it's working.
77.9 degrees.
It's hot in here. It's almost 78 degrees. Okay, so I'm going to take the wooden fork, and there I'm finding the sausage. I'm going to put it in. Let's see where we're at. Count to 7.
150.
Oh, it's beautiful. Okay, it has to be cooked to 140. That was just 150. I'm going to turn it on again for just a second, and then I'm going to put that bacon back in there because it also needs to just be warmed through.
Deborah, I have a question.
Yeah.
When did you want me to start the tea?
Oh, good question. Could you get me the a parchment lined baking sheet?
Oh, yes.
And then it's a perfect time to start the
Got it.
tea.
Okay.
Perfect time. Okay.
So
Get this out of the way so we don't cross-contaminate anything.
So parchment paper can come pre-cut, and this is a quarter baking sheet, and it's roughly 8 by 12. I think we might have to cut it down a little bit, but it's great to have pre-cut parchment paper.
Okay, so I'm turning the bacon now, and it's just going to need another minute or so, and then we will. Perfect. Thank you, Chris.
You're welcome.
And then I'll drop it in my skinny little oven we've got in here.
My apologies again for the tomato. It's mostly a top hat with a large tomato part on the bottom.
Okay, so we're going to cook the vegetables last because they are going to release their moisture. And if I want that toast to be toasty, like I heard in one interview that you want the juice to dribble down your chin if you've done it right. So I'm going to put this into the oven. So I'm opening the door. I never put my hand in the oven ever. I have a glove on, and I'm pulling it out, so it's got 4 fingers and a thumb, but I only had to hook my fingers around the front of the rack. I pull the food out to me, and now I'm taking the pan, the sheet pan, find the rack again. I'm going to put it on there, make sure it's level with the front, and then I'm just going to put that in the oven and let that stay warm. Okay.
Smells delicious, by the way. I wish you guys could be here.
So, Chris, I'm going to trade with you here a can with the.
Okay.
Do you mind taking care of that for me?
Got it. Thank you.
We are like a well-oiled machine.
We are.
And Chris, can I talk? I'm going to add another pat of butter to this pan because now we're going to toast the bread.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you had that problem with the tomato there, Chris. I'm always thinking I want things to be perfect, and if it goes wrong, I sort of give up. But you're going to have issues, right? I'm sure even you, Deborah, have problems now and again.
Of course. So, you know, it's a good question, and I think that's why it's important that people with vision loss, like the work you're doing on your show, technology isn't always easy, and it's easy to give up on. If it's frustrating if you don't get it right away, and it takes repeated times. But I think it's really important to have role models who people perceive to be like themselves, so they can see that I'm blind, but I can cook. And so that's going to give them, if they have vision loss, more of a perception that they should keep trying, even if they fail a time or two, because everybody fails.
And you don't have to be perfect at everything, and that would just give me an excuse to make the recipe again. I got something up.
It's true. And the more you cook, the more you learn. It's almost more important to learn how to correct things than how to get them right all the time. It's a higher skill level. Yep. So can I get that bread from you?
You sure can. All right.
Thank you. Oh, perfect. Mm-hmm. So we have a French baguette. Sorry, I don't know of any English baguettes. I would have got one. And we're going to put it in the pan, and this only take a couple of minutes to toast. And then I'm going to
tea water. How about that?
That's a great idea. Okay. Get that started. So do you guys drink tea?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. Do you drink English breakfast tea?
There is no other.
Well, I remember asking you guys if English muffins were a thing, and they're only a thing in America, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm using an electric kettle, and it has 2 buttons on the top. One button is for popping open the top, and the other button is for the power. And so it's just started to heat up now. And it has a nice, wide, but very definite spout on the kettle, so it'll be easy to aim over the large mug that I have here.
Okay, so now we're done with this pan, with the heavy pan I was using, so I'm going to move it out of the way. I'm going to get the toast out first. Because it's smelling very toasty in here. Mm-hmm. There's about 30 seconds between toasted and burnt. Use this. Yeah, that'll work. So I'm going to put this in the pan. Did I get it? Nope. Try again. Yeah, I definitely can feel the weight of that one on. So we're putting the toast. Yeah, and I definitely got that one too. Good. Okay, put that back. This over here. How hot is that pan? Oh, it's not very hot at all. That's good. So I'm putting on gloves because, again, I'm going to have to reach into this oven and pull the rack out and put the food on it. But it's all good. There it goes. Ooh, I hear that tea, Chris.
I know. Looking forward to it.
Okay, so now it's also very important to be organized because you're using a lot of different things and it can get lost. So I'm quite an organized cook. So now I'm going to go ahead and fry up, where'd they go? We'll start with the mushrooms because they're the hardest to find. I'm going to put those in the pan. That came up with a nice sizzle. We like that. And I'm constantly adjusting the heat. Obviously, I can't see the flame. Even if I could see, I can't see through the pan. So I'm constantly listening to what's taking place in the pan to know. Now, mushrooms don't have to be cooked fully, and I like mine to be a little bit al dente. And I'm not cooking them with the tomatoes, because it's going to be harder for me to track everything. I'm going to keep these moving around the pan. Oh, that smells like a good sponge right there.
I'm the kind of person who would immediately reach for my iPhone and search for apps to help me cook, search for, tools like, for example, Be My Eyes or Ira while I'm in the kitchen. And I notice both of you are cooking there and you haven't picked up a smartphone yet. What's going on? Do you use technology like that in the kitchen?
Do I use my smartphone in the kitchen?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, all the time. So technology is huge in my kitchen. I use the Meta smart glasses. I use my talking speakers, the smart speakers. They control my microwave, my convection oven, and my air fryer. I use the talking thermometer. I use technology a lot in the kitchen.
But also, I kind of wonder if there are simple tools that you're using which are way more effective, or at least tools that you would use every day that you would say are the go-tos. What are those?
Okay, so things like like the long wooden spoon, that's a very handy one. Things like, we have a double spatula, which is what would happen if your spatula and a tong had a baby. It comes out half spatula, half tongue. So instead of if I'm flipping foods and I get it onto that bottom platform, then I just press with my thumb to a top platform, and it's just going to, like tongs, it's just going to gently squeeze it. So now instead of me turning it over and hoping it fall, gravity is going to take over at some point, now I have some control. I can hold it where I want it until I'm ready to dispense of it. So I would say 90% of the tools you can learn within minutes. Like Chris was talking about that shark, the little jagged teeth that aren't sharp enough to cut your fingers, but it's better than trying to use a paring knife to get in at an angle. That's quite dangerous, and it actually removes quite a bit of the meat of the food that you're trying to core. This one does it really simply, easily, and about 90% of the tools of the blind kitchen were not meant for blind people. We've just repurposed it and reimagined it. So I'm going to. So Chris?
Yes.
I think it's about time for that. Would you mind cracking me an egg? This will be done very quickly.
I'm happy to do that.
So now I'm
going to crack this egg here into the little prep container, and I'm going to make sure that there are no shells. So carefully, I'm just going to take my fingertip and just examine. Nope, there are no shells. Tossing the shell into the scraps bowl, and it's ready for Debra. And can I just mention too that we have towel clips on our aprons, and there's a wet towel on my right and there's a dry towel on my left, and so I don't have to be running to the sink all the time, and it really cuts down on being inefficient. It's really an efficient way to go, and I've never worked with these before.
I don't know how many times I have set a towel down very carefully, make sure I get it in the exact right spot that I want it. And when I come back, it's gone. It's those Irish kitchen fairies that pull it to the floor. And so these travel with us. So it makes it much easier, and they're very easy. We don't have to take off our aprons or anything to change them out. They're just you just unsnap it and slap another one in there.
I need to get some of those. That's great.
I think I know where you can get some.
I think I do too.
Okay, so I'm going to do the tomato now. Those mushrooms were done. I used just a simple slotted spoon to get those out. Here, Chris, I'm going to hand you oh, you got it. Good. Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
Okay, so we got the tomato. That's not that bad, Chris.
Oh, are you sure?
You're hard on yourself.
I am. Thank you for that vote of confidence.
I'm going to go ahead and put that one down there. so I don't knock it over, because I
Sure.
will.
No worries. Got it.
Okay, so let me stir the beans again. So are you guys going to try that Worcestershire sauce and butter with your beans next time?
Maybe.
It's treason to say baked beans are bland. We can't say that in this country.
That's a good point. You could get your heads cut off.
Now, tell me about the fried egg earrings.
Oh goodness. Do we need an audio visual, like what do AD service to describe audio
Ira.
Yeah, really. I know that one of them has gold etching around the outside, and the pair I'm wearing, I think it has a very prominent yellow yoke in the middle that you can feel. So they're very tactile, sort of dangly earrings, and yeah, they're really cute. Yay, Amazon.
Chris brought those with her today, because do you know that earrings are a thing in the Blind Kitchen?
I didn't.
No.
So with every video we do, I wear a different pair of earrings that goes with the theme. So like we're baking eggs today, so we have fried eggs. When I was doing our cut resistant glove, I had sharp knives. They were plastic, but they were hanging from my ears. So they always go with the theme. If I'm making some kind of a sauce, sometimes there's wine bottles hanging from my ears. Not big ones. That would hurt.
I got also pieces of toast earrings too on Amazon, so you can just find anything over there. So
Yep. I have about 12 pairs of pie earrings. Cherry pie, blueberry pie, apple pie, lemon, what is it? Meringue, key lime.
And tell me
It's real fun.
a bit more about your relationship, guys, because you mentioned earlier, Deborah, that Chris taught you Braille from a stage in your life, I guess. So tell us a bit about that relationship.
So it started out very professional, and I'm going to tell you the truth. I don't even think I told Chris this.
Uh-oh.
So when I was being assessed, Chris did my adaptive phones, and I still could see enough that was using my eyes to use my phone. And so she told me how to put it on to make it accessible. And then she took it and she was just whipping around on it. It was like magic to me. Watching her use that phone, I use my hands to talk.
Uh-oh.
If
So yeah, we turned on
Nothing
voiceover.
moved.
Yeah,
Yeah, go ahead.
And we turned on voiceover and just showed her all the things that she could do with her phone, and that in the Braille class were the start of just getting to know her. And then I was really, really excited to know that she wanted to go to culinary school, and we're all just very excited about that. And then, of course, COVID came along and different things, but we kept in touch, and then just, really thrilled for her business. And yeah, it's just great to be friends.
Yeah, I went to a holiday party at her house this year, which was very nice.
Very fun. Yeah, everybody brought something, and it was just great to enjoy other people's cooking as well. Oh, and we had the crackers, the crackers that you pull apart, and there's confetti all over my floor. And the little prizes inside with the little jokes, that was awesome. It was such a fun time.
It was fun.
I imagine it must be quite challenging for a lot of people to get into cooking. I know myself that, I sometimes just write it off as I'm a guy, so what do I know about cooking? And I just leave it at that. I don't really give myself, I don't. I sometimes just don't give myself enough credit to say, well, I could potentially do this. And I think that there are a lot of us who, might hearing you talk and show you, cutting the food there, using sharp knives, that can be really, really unnerving, especially to someone going through vision loss. What would you say to guys and girls out there who are thinking they want to get into the kitchen? This is something they want to do. They want to cook for their family, cook for themselves, be healthy. What advice would you give to get started?
Yeah, I would say just, there's a lot of information out there, not just the Blind Kitchen website, as to how people with vision loss can cook. You have to have the information and the tools, but you just have to actually do it. Being scared isn't going to help you. And it's interesting you asked that, because one of the curriculums I'm writing right now are for if you're a parent who does not have vision loss and you have a child now with vision loss, the last thing you're going to want is that kid in the kitchen. You're going to be afraid they're going to cut themselves, they're going to burn themselves, but they need, if they're ever going to be independent and cook, they have to get in there. And my curriculum is how to make those kitchens accessible for their children without getting in the way of people like bump dots or tactile paint or whatever, without getting in the way of people that can see. So everybody can use the kitchen.
Yep.
It's not just about being accessible in the kitchen, though. It's also about safety, isn't it? Is there anything really, that most people worry about burning themselves or cutting themselves?
Mm-hmm. Right.
I used to do that when I could see. It happens in the kitchen. I've never known anybody that died from cutting or burning themselves in the kitchen. I think the fear is bigger than the reality. I've also found that people with vision loss are often more careful because we're not glancing at the TV. We're not glancing at the, getting in conversations. Right now I'm kind of distracted actually because I generally just concentrate when I'm cooking. So I'd say people, it can be done, but you have to have the right tools and information to be able to do it. And also the other thing, it's okay not to cook. Some people don't like cooking. I don't like cleaning bathrooms. I have to do it, but I don't like doing it. So, not everyone is meant to be a cook. But if you want to, if the urge is there, I suggest people to get out there because food is kind of my love language. That's how I'm not real demonstrative in terms of hugs and kisses and, notes and things like that. But if I cook for you, that is the way I feel like I'm nourishing your body, I'm nourishing your mind, we're creating a relationship. If the urge hits you, you can do it. You just got to learn how.
I would also say that using tools like the cutting gloves, and especially it's nice to not grate your finger along with, making a, coleslaw or something where you're using a grater, and people feel better about that. And then the UV gloves and things like that. But I think it's just taking the baby steps and trying new things and not being afraid. Because like Debra says, when you are in the kitchen, you're probably not going to do anything that's going to be really catastrophic, but it's just getting over the fear of starting in the first place.
It's true, just like with anything new. Mm-hmm. Now, we're getting ready to make the egg, and this is a cool thing because eggs are the bane of blind people's existence because liquid food goes in a pan and it goes wherever it wants, unless you have control. So I'm holding a tool in my hand right now. It's called an egg ring, and it's a 4-inch silicone ring, and it's got a little handle on it, but goes about 2 inches up, stainless steel with a little tip on it, and that handle's going to point towards the ceiling as I cook this egg. And what this does is it is going to, when I put the egg into this in the pan, it is going to force the egg to be attractive because it's going to be a circle, and it'll also tell me where I know that egg is at. So I'll explain that to you. I'm going to go ahead and put a pat of butter into this pan. See if it's...
How many pats of butter is that so far? Like about 6?
It's about 6. So I was listening to one of an interview, and the person says, well, most English people don't live past age 25, but they eat well.
Oh, no.
Have you ever listened to podcasts about English breakfast?
I know I haven't. And this is very educational.
I can tell that butter's still there. I can feel it. So we're going to let that, going to wait till it
so you're
smells
feeling a
toasty.
lot through the spoon.
Yeah.
Whether it's and I like certain spoons for that reason. You can feel whether something is melted yet or if it's still just a little bit hard. So
yeah. So now I have a spray bottle of oil. I'm going to go over my work tray. I always use work trays because they contain any spills or if I make a mess, but I'm just going to oil this because egg sticks like concrete to silicone. It doesn't seem like it should, but it does. So I'm pouring that on to make sure it, and yes, I'm using my fingers to make sure it's all the way around. Yep. No shame in that. The egg is going to cook.
Right.
So the other thing, so now I've got this little 4-inch ring. I've got the handle facing up, and I know where my pan handle is. It's always going to be at about 10 o'clock. And I'm going to take this and put this in the pan, and I'm going to put the handle of the egg ring near the handle of the pan. So I don't have to search for it now. I know where it's at. And I'm putting the egg ring in the pan. And I'm still waiting for that to come up. Get those beans back on again. This stove is quite finicky in terms of heat. It goes from low to high in like a split second. Okay, that's getting too hot to touch. Okay, can I grab the egg from you?
Yeah, that's right.
Perfect, thank you. So Chris has put the egg so nicely in the cup, and here's what I'm going to do. Now I'm touching the handle of the pan, and now I'm touching the handle of the egg ring. The pan is hot, but I know I'm safe, and I'm going to ride my fingers down that handle, kind of like a cane. And I'm touching the top. I don't have any heat protection, but I'm touching the top of the silicone ring, but that's okay. I'm not getting burnt. And now I know exactly where that egg ring is, and I'm going to dump the egg in there. Oop, that's the sound I want to hear. Chris, yep. I'm going to hand this back to you.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Mm-hmm. And you can hear it cooking. It's actually a little higher than I'd like. And I'm going to cook it for about 2 minutes, because I like mine not runny, not hard, but I like them to be a little bit jammy on the inside. Got to have something to dip your toast into. And because the bacon is salty, and probably the sausages too, that's usually some of the seasoning. I'm not salt and peppering anything else. I think there's going to be plenty of salt and pepper action going on here. And we can always add it later. Adding salt and pepper doesn't usually help, doesn't change the taste of the salt and pepper, so adding it later is a better idea, so that you can, especially if you're using pre-made ingredients, so like the beans. I have no idea how much salt's in here. Okay, we're getting close to it now.
I guess we didn't get out the app and ask him for that information about the sodium content, right?
About what?
The sodium content of the beans.
Yeah, Stephen, can you look that up? What's the sodium content of a can of Heinz beans?
Well, it depends, because you do get low salt versions. I guess that's not what you got. So I don't know. I'm going to say a lot, Shaun Preece. What do you think?
Yes, I expect so.
Okay, so now I'm back in the pan, and I'm running this is the hard part, and it's still hard for me, but I still do it, and my fingers are on top of that ring again. They're near the pan, the bottom of the pan, but they're not getting burnt. And so I'm going to slide my spatula underneath that egg ring. And I know where that egg is because my fingers are on either side of it, and it's in the center. And I'm holding it back, the egg, with the egg ring. And then I'm going to lift it, and I'm going to see if the egg is on there or not. Because if the egg ring is on the spatula, then the egg is too. And it's not. Okay, now it is. I'm going to lift it up. Now I'm going to remove the egg ring. I'm going to get it out of the way. And now I've lifted straight up, and I'm just going to flip it over. We're good. I'll tell you if the yolk broke. I'm not going to know for a minute. I get it right about 20%, about 80% of the time. So I think we're about ready to dish up. I'm going to turn off. Did you get the tea all taken care of?
You know, the tea water is nice and hot. So,
perfect, perfect. Mm-hmm. Okay, so Chris, do you want to start plating the food?
Yes, I just need to move a few things here.
Okay.
So we need our new tray, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we were prepared for this. We have a clean work tray underneath the one that she was cutting the vegetables and stuff on. And so,
let me get that.
Okay, I'll stay out of your way.
Sure. Okay.
Go further. Okay.
Tray.
And then I have a trivet here. I'm going to put the hot food, that hot pan on here, and Chris is going to plate it up, and she'll tell you how she's going to do that. So I'm going to go in the oven and get out this food that's nice and hot. The egg is going to cook just fine where it is.
Okay, so I have an oval plate on the work tray, and I also have a glove here. I'm going to just
reach it. Yeah, there we go. So
The glove on. Okay.
yeah, I'm going to take the knife basket out of the way.
Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. We're a team.
Yes, we are. Okay, great. So you want me to go ahead and start planing
Yep.
this then?
Yep.
All right, so,
Yeah, everything's ready to
all
go.
right, I'm finding that nice tomato. And we get the sausage. I'm going to put these things in certain places in the plate so that I know where they are here. I'm just going to grab. Okay. And what about the toast? Can you remind me where the toast pieces go?
You're going to hold them back
I am.
and when I take the plate over to
Yes.
do the beans.
Indeed. Okay, so it looks like I got everything off of
good.
that.
And we're only making one plate, first of all, because you can't really eat it. I don't know if you know that. But if you were here, we'd be making two for sure.
Absolutely.
Are you ready?
I'm ready for
Okay.
you.
So we communicated in advance. I'm going to put the beans on the left. I know she left a space there and the egg on the right. So communication is very important when both of you can't see.
Yep.
So I'm going into this pan now. I'm scooping up some beans.
2.6 grams of sodium, by the way.
Thank you.
Wow.
That's a perfect amount. Okay, so I'm just putting 2 scoops of it on. And then I'm going to put this down because I need 2 hands to dismount the egg,
Got
if
it.
that's a word.
Yeah, we could make that a word.
It is a word. It is now. I made one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one I want. So go over here. Yep, I got space there. There we go. That went as smooth as silk, I'd say. No major catastrophes here today. So, you ready, Chris?
I'm ready. Are you ready?
I am ready.
Okay, I'm going to hand you a piece of toast.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'll let you know how that egg turned out. I'm going to find out right now.
Goodness.
It's a little bit jammy.
Oh, that's the way
That's
you
good.
like it.
That's the way I like it.
Shall I try the mix? Okay. Let's see if we can get these.
Yum. It's crunchy.
Perfect.
So I'm just going to hold it up for people that can see this is our finished product.
Absolutely
Okay.
amazing. Where do we begin, guys? It's just amazing.
That was so impressive, so impressive. You know, and you got that jammy egg, which I'm exactly the same. I find it really difficult to cook a perfect egg. It's either crispy on the edges or it's rock solid or it's not cooked. And that's my worry with a lot of cooking. Either I'm not cooking it enough and I'm going to make myself ill, or I'm cremating it. It seems like that thermometer is something that really helps with that.
You know that the thermometer is a big help for me in the kitchen. Do you know that muffins should be baked to 208 degrees? You can use it for baked goods. You can use it for a baked potato. It's about the same. And when I used to do, we have a program here in the United States where people can, it's called business enterprise. And so they have to pass a cooking assessment to be able to qualify to be in the program. It's a very difficult program to get into, but it's very lucrative if they're successful. And I would always bring a baked potato in and have them bake the potato. I'd find out if they put foil on it. No. Then you're steaming your potato. You're not baking it. If you oil it and put salt on it, it just makes it so wonderful. But almost always, they never cook the potato. They're nervous, of course. They're being evaluated. And they never use the talking thermometer. They could use any tools. But the last part of that potato to cook is going to be in the center. So if your fork, when I was growing up, we used a fork, to poke it. But if that fork can't go far enough in there to get to the center, it's still going to be uncooked. But a talking thermometer, there's no guesswork with it. Mm-hmm. And you're exactly right. One of the fears that people have, there's really 4 fears of cooking with vision loss. One is fear of cutting yourself, burning yourself, embarrassing yourself because you're messy and disorganized or clumsy. That's and also fear of embarrassing yourself. Like if I hand you this plate, or if Chris hands you this plate, we're fairly confident that it's going to be attractive. She was careful where she put things. I was careful where we put things. I know that I'd be giving you both similar, consistent serving sizes. There are tips and tricks to doing that as well. But the fourth fear is fear of making people sick because you undercook your food. So if I'm going to cook you chicken or I'm going to cook you a steak and I'm afraid I'm going to make you sick, I'm going to overcook it. I'd rather serve you overcooked food. And so here's you asked for steak, here's beef jerky. I completely killed it. So, but the talking thermometer helps with that. That gives us the information we need, because a lot of recipes say, cook it until the juices run clear, or cook it till it's no longer pink in the middle. We don't have access to that information. I don't want to call Ira every time. Plus, you don't know with Be My Eyes or those, if those people know how to cook. So you ask if it's brown enough. Well, yeah, they don't want to say they don't know. Yeah. So that's the way. So the talking thermometer lets us gather that information independently.
What did people say when they learn you're a blind chef? What kind of reaction do people give you?
You know, it's a really good question. They're surprised. And so I tell them to go to the website. And I own a company. That's the other thing. I'm running a company here. I think there's a little bit of disbelief. And you guys are on the internet. There's a lot of trolls out there. She can't be blind. You know, they just don't believe it. And I've heard a lot of other social influencers say the same thing, that they always get accused that they're not really blind. And people, you know, you can say whatever you want. I know you could turn all these lights off in here and I'd have cooked it exactly the same way. Right. So in fact, I learned to cook under sleep shade. I had a blindfold, so I didn't even have light coming in, which I do have light perception at this point. So they're surprised. And the reason they're surprised is because they can't imagine how they'd be able to do it. They're just projecting. It's like, I mean, I'm surprised that blind people can run marathons. I'm surprised they can climb mountains or kayak. And you know why I'm surprised? Because I don't know how to do it. But once you have the information, and now people have more confidence in me. We've done quite a few episodes where I'm cooking in the blind kitchen. And you saw me knock over a bottle today and stuff like that. It doesn't go perfectly every time, for sure. But the more I plan, the slower I go. And that's the other thing, if I can give a cooking tip to anybody, sighted or not, is most people start cooking before they're ready. And I heard this actually from a sighted chef. He says, don't turn on your stove. Because let's say I was cooking and I needed to find that Worcestershire sauce. So I go to my refrigerator, my husband has taken it or moved it around. He's not supposed to, but he does. And so I'd have to, now I'm hearing the pan sizzle on the stove, and I'm trying to solve this problem. My anxiety's going up. I'm not having fun anymore. I'm panicking now. And so if you have everything like on a work tray in front of you, all your ingredients, you do your problem solving before you turn on the stove. Yeah. It makes you agree, it sounds like.
Yeah, definitely. And getting things that go together, you know, if there's sauce ingredients to mix up, and just reading the recipe ahead of time and all that sort of thing is helpful too.
Yep. My chef, my favorite chef at culinary school, I did a contest where we blindfolded him, and he had to cook the same dish that I did in his own kitchen, and he did great. And what did he say? I've lost my train of thought. Sorry.
Can I grab my cup of tea?
Oh,
or do you want a cup of tea that would help your train of thought?
That would be great.
Oh, awesome.
Cup of tea would help my train of thought.
Okay.
So I can't remember where that story was going, but there you go.
I'm excited that he cooked the same recipe, though.
He did. He said it was humbling. He did very well. Very, very well. In fact, 4 of my siblings were on the Zoom call, it took place with the Cooking Without Looking TV show. And it was live. Everything was done live, him and me. I did it first, then he did his, and he said it was really humbling. But my sister was on the call, and she's like, he couldn't find his orange juice. It was shrimp with orange butter sauce. You see a theme here, butter. Anyway, he goes and he can't find it. And I guess it was just inches from his fingertips.
Oh, gracious.
And my sister's like, can I tell him where it's at, please? They wouldn't let him. It was very fun.
There's a cup of tea on the right corner edge of the tray if you'd like.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. I made sure I got the cocoa mint or whatever this one is, though.
Oh, it's almost like you're English now. This is beautiful. I'm loving it.
I could do an English accent if you want me to.
Oh, no. Oh, don't do that.
Please do.
Maybe I can't.
Can I ask, Debra, you mentioned your website and running a company. So what actually do you do on the website?
Oh, thank you for that question. I appreciate it. So my business is online completely. It's theblindkitchen.com. And what it has is all these tools I talked about. We have almost 100 tools on there now in different collections. So you go on, and let's say you're talking about the wooden spoon or the talking thermometer. You'll see a audio described video. We won an award from Edgar, my videographer, won an award from the American Council of the Blind for Audio Description Project Award, because they're all audio described. If I'm concentrating, so I talk like I'm doing now to you on those videos. I tell you what it is, what it does, why it's blind friendly, and how to use and care for it. You'll get a whole tutorial. And so when I'm concentrating, maybe I'm cutting, maybe I'm doing something that I can't talk at that point in time, we hire a professional voice to come on, and he'll describe what's going on in that kitchen. So everyone has equal access to all the information on our website. And so let's say you order this auto measure spout that I have here that dispenses a tablespoon. And then you get it in the mail. First of all, you'll get it. It comes in a package that's both large print and braille. So everyone has access to it. And let's say you forget what I didn't tell you all the way how to use it or whatever, then you can watch that audio described video and get all of that information. And so that's what we do on the website. And then there's tons of free information. So the tools are how we make money. That's the bread and butter of the Blind Kitchen. But the heart of the Blind Kitchen is the Blind Kitchen Library. And we have all different categories on things related to cooking, because cooking doesn't start and end in the kitchen. You have to get your supplies, you have to get your ingredients, you have to be able to read recipes most of the time. You have to be able to clean up after yourself. You have to be able to know what's in this closed container. I've got 2 cans here, they feel exactly alike. How do I know which is which? And there's like 12 right answers to that question, but depending on your budget and your comfort with technology. It can be as simple as a bumped out or rubber band, or it can be more high-tech like way around labels that use an app on your phone to be able to read them. So that it's all about vision loss. I don't just sell pots and pans. If I'm selling a pot or a pan, it's something that's going to be very conducive to cooking with vision loss. That'll help make people's lives easier. So there's a lot of free information, like clipping a towel now we do sell the towel clips, but you could use a safety pin to put a towel, hook it to your shirt, and then you're walking around with your towel. I mean, some of these answers are just information and very low cost. So that's what the Blind Kitchen does.
I love what you do. I think it's amazing what you do. I'm so pleased we were able to do this collaboration today between Double Tap and the Blind Kitchen. It's been really, really exciting. And I do want to leave you with one thing, a very British tip that I want to leave you with. And that is when you go to England, you have to ask someone when you're making them a cup of tea whether or not the milk should go in first or the tea bag should go in first.
Now, why is that?
Because it will start an argument, and I like it.
You shouldn't talk tea, and you shouldn't talk politics, and you shouldn't talk religion.
That's exactly right. Debra and Chris, thank you so much for being on the show today. It's been wonderful talking to you, wonderful sharing your knowledge as well, and an amazing website, which I encourage everybody to go check out. Thank you so much for your time today. I am so jealous of the food in front of you. I wish I was there to taste it. I know Shaun is too, but thank you so much for coming on.
Well, thank you for having us. This was so much fun to do together, and we've been looking forward to it and planning, and it's just been a joy all the way. So thank you for having us, and we both say you're our favorite show.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
Okay, so Shaun, are you less scared now than you were going into this?
I am. Do you know what it is, though? It's like with so many other things. It's hearing or watching someone else do it. You think, oh, it is possible. Because otherwise I'm just thinking, well, how on earth am I going to do that? And it's just these little tips and tricks, just the same with tech. Someone else showing you, and you think, oh, okay, I get it now. Yeah, absolutely. The only problem with all of this is going to the kitchen virtually is that the food for us is virtual as well, because I really want to eat that.
Yeah, that's right.
That's the trouble.
We couldn't eat any of this stuff because, we weren't there, which is kind of annoying. But hey, that's the way it goes. Listen, fantastic resources all being put out there by Debra and her team at The Blind Kitchen. A huge thank you to them for spending the hour with us. Also, a huge thanks to Chris Cooke as well for joining. And that is it for us today. But do check out theblindkitchen.com for plenty of tips and regular YouTube updates as well on how you can cook safely at the home, in the home, blind. Sounds brilliant. And at the home as well. That's it for us today. Catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.